Let me tell you a story. So last month, we onboarded an e-commerce brand that had been working with an agency for over a year, and the largest month they have ever hit was $33,000 last September. And most months they're hovering around $15,000 a month, I'd say, on average. And now this month, in the first full month working with them, we're projected to hit over $225,000 in the first month, which is essentially a 12x year-over-year sales growth on the Shopify store. But here's the incredible part. Our meta campaigns month to date are at over a 9.34x return on ad spend, and pretty much driven almost all the revenue so far. So in this video, I'm going to go over our new meta ad strategy here for 2025 that we're able to get results like this step by step. So you're going to want to stay tuned until all the way to the end. And also on top of that, I'm going to give you a little bonus as well. I'm going to go over 7 little adjustments that we made to the site to increase the conversion rate by about 75% while scaling. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, so I'm going to walk you through our strategy step by step. So first things first, whenever launching meta out from brand new, whenever we start with a brand, number one is always research. So basically, the main goal with research, the way I view it, is we want our positioning. Whenever I think of marketing, I always think of positioning. If you really think about it, the biggest companies in the world, what do they always do with their marketing and how they go about it? It's all about how can we position the brand in a certain way. And for us, and for the brands that we work with, we want it to be top tier. So we want it to be positioned in a way where, customers, view us as, the best possible product in the market, essentially. And we want our messaging to resonate with the target audiences that we're going after pretty much perfectly. So we want to sound like them. We want to, talk to the benefits and everything that they care about, and then make sure that is just resonating flawlessly. And when you combine those two things, the positioning and the messaging, you end up having some really, 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 really deadly advertising. So the way we find this, these are just a couple of ways: reviews, digging through the site reviews, digging through Amazon reviews if that's applicable, also going through competitors, and then also going through their reviews as well too, and then really figuring out differentiating factors from the brand itself. And also what we do whenever we onboard a brand, we always have onboarding sheet, onboarding questionnaire that we have them fill out, basically split on 3 different sections: info on the brand, info on the target audience, and then also info on the competition as well too. Then from there, we also have them kind of come up with their own differentiating factors from their own perspective, and then we come up from ours as well, and then we kind of combine forces essentially. And then also another really, really, really key that I don't think gets talked about enough in marketing is the law of leadership. And basically the law of leadership means it's better to be first than it's better to be better. So basically the way consumer psychology works is anything new is just people are much more drawn to what's new rather than what's better, right? It's just, how people work. So if you're like the first to launch some sort of, feature on your product, you want to really highlight things like that, as long as it has a benefit to it. A really, really good example of this I remember reading in a book was you always remember the first person that ever flew a plane, right? Or the first person, but you just don't remember the second person. Even though the second person to ever fly a plane, it was actually way more successful. But it's just funny how it works like that. You only remember the first person. So that's why it's just so much more crucial to be first rather than try to be better. So that's very, very key there. And then whenever we launch out as well, we always start with best-selling products or best-selling collections, no matter what. And that's how we kind of go about it. And then from there, what we do is we always start off with 3 ad formats, and we launch anywhere from 4 to 5 ads in the first batch. Okay. And we basically want a combination of static, video, and carousel to kind of see what works the best. And that's how we always start off. We always have 2 ad copy, we have 3 different ad formats, and we launch anywhere from 4 to 5 ads on the first batch, no questions asked. And then when we research it, so once you combine the research with really, really good ad copy, and you have the best, you start with the best performing products, collections, etc., and then you have 3 different ad formats, it gives you a really, 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 really high likelihood of having a really good start with your meta ads essentially. Now, number 2 is when we want to go ahead and launch a new batch of ads per week. Okay. So basically what we end up doing for the statics, let me actually just show you our static collection here. Let me just pause this. All right. So you can see here, I just pulled it up. So what we always do is we always have a massive gallery of all these different static concepts that we can use to basically come up with a ton of different ideas. And there's so many different ones, and there's always ones that are always trending and on the up. But you can see here is like core benefits, social proof, us versus them, tweet ads, split screen, meme style, iPhone. Like there's so many different ones. Like there's ones that just pop up all the time as well. Like the cost saving static. We launched this one here for a brand that I work with. This one was a winner, did really, really well. So and then you got like core benefit and These ones are just the ones that basically have the nice little clean caption on it. You can also call it a problem with them as well. Social proof, these work really, really, really well. Article statics are kind of in the midst of social proof as well. We also have this one here. I really, really, really like. We got this one from Dad Gang. This one, give this a try. This one crushes every single time. No questions asked. It just works. Just like the IG comment one. It just looks so real, looks so raw. So we always do that. Call out listicle. These ones here work incredibly well. Nice little headline on the top, and then it's basically benefits as well. I actually really like this one here. We found this one, and it's nice little emojis. It's basically call out listicle with the emojis. Actually, this one, yeah, it's like the call listicle mixed with basically social proof as well. So actually really, really, really good. Us versus them always works really, really well. Comparing your brand to the other ones. Offer discount works really, really well. Tweet ads, I actually really like these ones here. This is for a brand that we work with, Keyboard Company, and these work really, really well. So definitely give them a shot. Split screen, lifestyle with product, meme style, these work really, really well. Yeah, honestly, all of these actually work really well. Post-it note ads, also called the ugly ads on Twitter. Those work really well. iPhone note ads, pretty unique concept. Before and after. Bad review. Funny enough, these actually do work really, really well. It's just, you always just want to put like a positive spin on it. So it's pretty interesting. Airdrop, it's for a brand to work with here. It's a nice little clean setup there. The Google ads, but also you want to kind of call it goggle because you don't want to like say it is Google. So that's a nice little thing there. You want to make sure you do, cartoon hijacking, any sort of cartoons and stuff. So there's so many different concepts, but basically those are like concepts, and then you want to test different angles. And then you can also do it for different products. So you can see how like there's just millions of different combinations you can really come up with. And then in terms of the videos, I made a video about our video strategy here. But yeah, basically, really what we do a lot of times is we do a lot of different video mashups, basically taking different video clips and combining them together, adding captions, all that kind of stuff. Those do really, really well. And then on top of that, we always do 3 different start times on winning video ads. So if there's winning video ad, we always want to, or even if we like launch something out, we always want to start with 3 different start times. I find that has a really, really big impact on things. And you can see here, basically for this one here that we launched out with for the cooler tops, that was basically the best-selling collection. Not anymore, because you'll see one in a second. But you can see here, basically every single week we just basically duplicate it out, and then we launch a new batch, and then eventually we did this. We did a little edit here for the UGC videos, and you can see here that one popped off with a 10x return ad spend. For this one here for the cooler tops. So that's why we want to keep trying to beat that that initial batch that we launched, this one right here. Okay, so that's basically step 2. Step 3 is we want to make sure we're testing other products collections. Now obviously this doesn't apply if there's one product or one SKU, but if there's others, you want to make sure you're testing them, and that is precisely what we did in this case actually. And basically you want to ask, like, what are the products that are good, proof of concept, like, bestseller, they have some good, they actually have to sell essentially, but really, really important, have low competition. And that's what we found with this one here. And basically what we do is we actually separate the collections and products out in a new campaign if they're basically just a way different AOV, and that's the case with this one. So essentially with this one here, targeting the truck accessories, and you can see you're at almost 11x ROI, $29 CPA. They're spending over $300 on average. Pretty sweet. So you can see here, basically, we launched that one, and then essentially what we did, kept duplicating and launching out, and then essentially what we did, we have a UGC mashup that has over a 10x, almost an 11x ROI with 46K in revenue. Pretty crazy, right? So that really came down from our, us doing the mashups, and also 3 different start times as well too. So that is why you want to be doing that as well. And then from there, really what you want to be working on is looking for the biggest bottlenecks that are limiting growth and profit. So this usually comes down to website, which we'll cover down in a second, down below as a little bonus there. But really, so we have an entire website optimization playbook. I think I might make a video on this here. It's very, very, very detailed. And we want the website to we want it to be a certain way and have it check certain boxes and look a certain way on mobile and make sure it is perfectly optimized. Because I think at the end of the day, if you're sending all this money, you're sending all the traffic to the site is pretty much half the battle, and it's just such a big lever, and most brands and companies just don't have it properly optimized. I'd say actually like 90-95% of them, to be honest. There's always something. We have now some 8-figure brands we work with, and in my opinion, I think there's even more room to to grow that as well too, or even like optimize those websites as well too. And then content. So in terms of our what's our budget and what kind of content do we have in the pipeline, basically for this company here, now we're basically going to be sourcing a ton of UGC content. So over 20 videos a month, we're going to start doing them here for them and just start piling it in. And then from there, we can do UGC mashups of those. And that's why the content is just so incredibly important. And then we'll have to keep leveling that up. Because at this point now with them, we're basically, passing over $1,000 a day in spend. We need, I would say anywhere from, I'd say for sure a batch of ads a week, but maybe even 2 batches of ads per week. So every batch we always launch with 3 different creatives after that initial launch of the 3 different ad formats. And then basically, so we need enough content in the pipeline to make sure that, that all is able to happen. And then retention. I find a lot of brands don't have their retention nowhere near optimized at all. And this really ends up retention. I love the quote, socials for growth and emails for profit. Now, of course, in this case, we're just making a ridiculous amount of profit on the front end. So, of course, you'll be, they're, of course, very, very happy with that. But the thing is, retention is just a pure profit play. It's a pure, profit driver, revenue driver as well. And if it's not really optimized too well and there's very low returning customer rate, it will have an impact on things, and it really just kind of helps stop scale. Because at the end of the day, you want the LTVs to be as high as possible, so that way you can kind of just acquire a lot more customers on the front end and be able to spend more as well too. So the thing is, if flows aren't properly optimized, that's a big issue. The pop-up as well, I'd say minimum, making sure the pop-up is hitting at least 5% in terms of capturing the emails when they land on the site there. And then making sure you're sending regular campaigns cadence. I'd say minimum 1 a week, but preferably, maybe even 2 or 3 a week is really the most optimal, I'd say. And then in terms of flows, welcome series needs to be at a really dialed. I'd say anywhere from 6 to 8 emails. And then having all the site, browse, banner cart, banner checkout. Thing is, if all those aren't really properly set up and optimized, you're literally just sending all this traffic from Meta, and then they're not being properly, basically followed up with and all that kind of stuff for people who are going through the funnel and adding to cart, and then all of a sudden, they're not even being followed up with. So those are very, very important. So a couple other flows as well too, but hopefully that makes sense. But there's almost always something to improve here that are basically just bottlenecking growth and profit, essentially, that basically is another huge lever to pull. And then from there, it's really just kind of steadily scaling budgets and scaling ROI, essentially. So basically what we do is we raise by about 20% per day, and then always pay attention to these KPIs. We just pay attention, laser focus on the spend, the revenue, CPA, and return on ad spend. And essentially what we do, so basically if we're raising, so that 724 a day, that's on that one best-selling campaign right now, we basically just go 724 and then times it by 20 and then just add it to that 724. And you can see how fast it scales. Now all of a sudden you take 20% of 868 and you're like, okay. And then basically now you're at over $1,000 a day. So you can see how fast it really scales. And that's why we just do the 20% per day. And then you can see here, all we really pay attention to is, the spend right here. How much are we spending? What's the revenue? What's the return? And what's the, the cost per acquisition, essentially. Those are really what we pay attention to for these brands here. For this one here, their break-even return ad spend is about a 1.8. So we're well above that. I mean, it's looking pretty damn good, and they're spending over $300 on average, and over 50% margin, about 60% margin or so. So yeah, it's one of those things where we're looking really good. So obviously here we are got the green light to continue to scale, essentially. Now, like I was saying, want to cover a little bonus here as well. The 7 site adjustments that we did to raise the conversion rate by 75% while 9xing the revenue. So very incredible stuff here. So like you can see here, 75% raised in terms of conversion rate. But what's incredible is that, basically at the time I took the screenshot here, we're 88K, 10 days into the month of December, and basically over 9x the revenue. So Usually conversion rate will dip over time as you scale, because obviously you're reaching colder people over time. So that's something to note. So first things first was basically this page, was just not properly optimized at all, and agency just left it, just didn't do anything. Like I was saying, I was working with them for about almost a year and a half, definitely over a year, and then it was never really able to break, like I was saying, 33K. So this is why it's so important, and why I think it's actually part of the meta ad strategy, because where you're sending all the meta traffic, send it to the website. So you got to make sure it's perfect. So let's cover this bonus here. So basically what we want to do is, we're going to fix that up there. Reducing the white space in between the top and bottom of the product images. There's so much, like, the thing is, as soon as they click on the product page and you're on mobile, every single bit above the fold, that real estate is so crucial. So you can see here from Soul Stove, they do about 300 million a year. So you can see how there's no wasted white space. It's just logo, checkout stuff, and then boom, the photos. Like, there's no extra white space in between. And the photos were just completely unoptimized, and it was just taking up way too much room. And if you really think about that, like, that means there's extra scrolling that they need to do to get to the extra info to be able to add to cart, which you can't buy if you don't add to cart. So got to make sure that's properly. And then basically adding the preview, the photos, you can see here on brand that we work with, you can see the photos are right below there. The reason why you want that is because the photos are so important. I remember speaking with a guy, they do CRO for brands about 5 million a year, and they've done about like 6,000 split tests on websites, and they basically said that 80% of the wins came from photos and copy. Okay, so that's how important the photos are. And the thing is, if you make the photos harder on mobile, which is literally where 90% of the revenue is coming from, it's a big issue. So you really want to make sure that they're pop up right there. And then also, instead of the variant pills button, we wanted to set down a drop down menu like this. So you can see here basically benefits, spec, shipping, returns, very similar to how Solo Stove has it. And the reason why we do that is because it just makes it a lot easier to navigate. And we also want to make sure that the shipping returns are right there, easy to see. Because the thing is, if someone's buying from a brand that's not Amazon, one of the things they're wondering is, they're like, how long is this going to take? Can I return if there's anything wrong, etc., etc. So that's the next thing. This one here also is adding the icons and text below the add to cart button. We find that this usually improves conversion rate by about 25-30% in this move alone. So it's actually a big one. This one here, you can add anything about number of customers. If you have a good shipping return policy, really good to have right there. Because the thing is, one of the things right before they're about to add a cart, they're like it just helps alleviate their, like, okay, worst case, easy 30-day returns, boom, that's all good. So that really helps them, encourage them to add to cart and encourage them to buy. So yeah, that's something you really want to highlight there as well. And then, yeah, basically hiding the current description, adding an accordion for the product description. So you can see here on this one here, already kind of touched on it, but the specs and shipping returns, actually already went on that detail up above there. And then basically also what we did on the collection page, we fixed the review title issue. Is basically what we want on the collection page. We want a photo at the top, and then we want no scrolling for the first set of products, and then we want products side by side. And then on top of that, what you'll notice that Amazon does, you'll easily be able to see the reviews right from the product listing, because basically customers just want to see, reviews, and they also want to see social proof, and they wanted to see what's kind of the best selling. So if you see these two products side by side, you'll know, 127 compared to 43. Let me click on this one because most people buy it, if that makes sense. So that's why we do it. And then this one here, actually, I already spoke about that. The two products side by side in the middle view, everything kind of really covers that. But yeah, that's basically the 7 things that we did there for that there, and basically helped improve the conversion rate by about 75%. So it really makes a big difference, these little details, and making sure that the page is perfectly optimized, essentially. Now, if you found this video helpful and you have an e-commerce brand that's doing at least $25,000 per month, and you want help basically implementing all this for myself and our expert team, there is a link down below in the description for you to go ahead and book in a call with myself to see if we can help. Also, there's a couple other brands that we don't work with as well. We don't work with dropshippers. We don't work with any fashion or beauty brands, anything just like purely visual. And of course, we don't help with the brands that we aren't 100% confident that, we can help out as well. So that's why we have the call together, just to make sure that there is 100% certainty that I can help you out. So go ahead, click the link below, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers for watching.